Hello, everyone. My name's Oliver Sawchuk,
And I'm Julian McCool.
and this is Galactic Sports Talk. So, as we always do, we like to talk about the Bills, football, and any other sports, and Star Wars. I think we have to talk about the elephant in the room, Julian. The Buffalo Bills this last weekend against the Miami Dolphins lost 30-13 against that Dolphins team that sold heavily at the deadline.
Yeah, because going into, this week, the Buffalo Bills, they came off of their, regular season Super Bowl playing the Kansas City Chiefs. And after such a high clip of, coming off of, blowing out the Panthers and then beating the Chiefs pretty convincingly, like we talked about last week, you kind of thought,
They would go into Miami and put up a ton of points.
But trap games happen, and this is a trap game. And obviously a division opponent. And, Buffalo, at times, every other year, it seems like when they go to Miami, they kind of struggle or they barely squeak out a win. And in this case, no win here. It was it was a blowout by the score, but definitely, Buffalo had times where they could have done something. It's just they couldn't really get anything done, especially on offense.
Yeah, I think during the game, CBS reported, they said, the last time Miami beat the Bills, they shut them down offensively. They won 21-19 in Miami back 4 years ago or 3.5 years ago. It was a long time ago for the Miami Dolphins. The offense, they struggled a lot Sunday. Even though Josh Allen had 306 passing yards, he went 28 for 40. He had 2 passing touchdowns. First off, they couldn't really run the ball that well with James.
No, they couldn't. No.
The play calling was very skeptical from Joe Brady. The one play I'd like to highlight is the 4th and 1 in the first quarter, I believe, of the game.
Yeah.
And they did a play action pass to Jackson Hawes down the field. Of all players, Jackson Hawes is blocking tight end, your third string tight end.
Yeah.
And the throw was not good either. It
wasn't great.
Where, it had a whole bunch of air time. It was not a good throw. So, what were your thoughts on the play calling and the offensive struggles?
So I would like to highlight, yes, Bills struggled 100% on offense. They definitely played, not to their standard, but give credit to Miami. They definitely had Anthony Weaver came out with a great game plan, just not letting James Cook do anything and really forcing the Bills to, throw the ball and to really beat them down the field. And I think, we saw against this Miami defense that receivers, other than really Khalil Shakir, could not create separation whatsoever.
Yeah, we saw that Josh Allen, who liked to run around and do crazy stuff. He was trying to do that, but it didn't matter what he did. The receivers down the field weren't open. Shakir got a couple good catches, did his normal thing, but you need guys like Keon Coleman to step up, or Elijah Moore. You need those guys to step up.
And you saw during the game too, they kept targeting Keon Coleman, and really only one play went his way when they would, because like we said last week, they brought him in to be this jump ball receiver, and in college he was that. And on Sunday we kind of saw that in that one play where he scored a touchdown off of a 36-yard pass from Josh Allen, and we want that to be on the regular, but it really seems like they're not clicking in terms of downfield separation, and really. It kind of makes you question, because the Bills at the trade deadline were trading for Jalen Waddle.
Yeah.
And they offered a 2027 first-round pick, and Miami said no.
Yeah.
And
they said no to 2 things. First off, they didn't want to trade with anybody in the AFC East, especially the Bills. And they wanted our first round this coming year in 2026 and not in 2 years.
So I don't know about you. I personally would have made the move, because at this point, the Bills, if they with Jalen Waddle, that opens up everything else. That opens up not only Khalil Shakir, it also opens up the run game, and it also makes you wonder too. You can go down the field more and maybe help a Keon Coleman better with a speed threat, deep threat like a Jalen Waddle.
Yeah, it would have spread the field for Josh Allen. Would have allowed him to get those throws deep that he was accustomed to a few years ago. I know he was throwing a lot of picks in those years, but there were more explosive plays. The offense looked a lot better.
But I think also personnel was different, too. You had Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis at the time, who was kind of ascending to be this deep threat guy. We saw it against Pittsburgh multiple times where he got a 90.
He would just go downfield and score. It was
Kansas City in the playoffs. Those memories of Kansas City, even though they ended poorly, I loved watching Gabe Davis absolutely pop off in those games.
Yep. And in that game, Keon Coleman finished with 3 catches for 46 yards and a touchdown. So it wasn't his worst game of the year, but not what the Bills need right now.
No, and, like I said, give credit to this Miami defense. All year, kind of they've been, seen as one of the worst defenses in the league, and rightfully so statistically. But they definitely had a good game plan to combat the Buffalo Bills with, playing aggressive man coverage. And, definitely they were getting pressure on Josh Allen. And even at times, too, a lot of the sacks were coverage sacks. Josh Allen in this game had the highest, time to throw in his NFL career, over 3 seconds, and still nobody could get open, and he had to use his legs and improvise. Some of the completions were more because Josh Allen was able to help hold the time up and the offensive line rather than the wide receivers. And kind of makes you question, should they have made that move for Jalen Waddle or made moves for other people like a Rashid Shaheed, Chris Olave, Brian Thomas was rumored as well, or even a Jacoby Myers out of left field.
Jacoby Myers got traded to the Jaguars for, a third and a fourth, or was it a fourth and a fifth? Can't exactly remember what he got traded for, but the Bills could have obviously made that move.
Right. And I don't think this is, I wouldn't panic at all either because, again, division opponent, they're always tough to play. And, Buffalo does have this times where they lose a couple games in regular season that they either could have won or they definitely were underperforming. And, it's midseason, obviously, coming off of the Patriots win last night. It's a 2.5 game lead. They still have to go on their bye, the Patriots. And, Buffalo kind of, other than New England and Tampa, I think they're in the. Other than really the Eagles and Tampa, I think their schedule is pretty, winnable. This week kind of, it decides. I'm not going to decide their season, but it really does decide, on the division. I would say if they do lose this game,
it doesn't necessarily, like you said, it doesn't necessarily decide their season, but it decides how they'll play football for the rest of the season.
Right.
Like every loss matters now. Like if you lose this game against Tampa and then down the road, say, there's been reports that Joe Burrow could be coming back the week that we play them.
Right.
The Cincinnati Bengals. What if we get in a shootout with them and we lose that game?
Right.
Now we're going to be 12-5, and New England could be, I don't know, 13-4 or
14-3. Yeah,
they could lose a couple games and they could still win the division
right.
in the wild card. Like that's scary stuff for the Buffalo Bills. So we're going to transition over to a new segment here on Galactic Sports Talk where Julian's going to break down a part of the game and specifically what we've been talking about for the past couple minutes here, the offensive struggles.
So obviously, the Buffalo Bills, what they're really good at is down and distance and knowing kind of where they are on the field and what to call. That's what has been Joe Brady's specialty since he's been here. Now in this 4th and 1, you see a traditional, 2 tight end set that the Bills love to run on 4th down. Got the fullback Reggie Gilliam, got obviously James Cook, and then in this play in particular, you have Tyrell Shavers, who's kind of, the speedster, but also a decent blocker. You see how Miami right here, they're kind of running a 6-3-2, which is they're going to have everyone pinched in on the offensive line and, basically try and stop this, what the Bills love to do best, which is called the snowplow or their version of the tush push. Now right here, the Bills kind of call a weird play that you really never see often. What they're going to do here, instead of running either a snowplow or a traditional running back dive, is Josh is going to do a rollout play action. And then James Cook is going to do this flat route, which, works sometimes. Then you're going to have Tyrell Shavers kind of work the middle of the field and go across the middle here. And then kind of where this is weird is they're going to have their blocking tight end, Jackson Hawes, rookie, who's been decent this year, kind of run this weird go route and try and beat this DB right here. But the problem is this DB is playing too far back on this play for them to really do anything. And then this outside linebacker is going to really penetrate while Josh is rolling out, while also James Cook is moving. And then while James Cook is moving and this linebacker is really playing hard contain against Josh and not really letting him use his legs, this DB is going to really play this zone of James Cook. So that kind of locks up everything. And then while Josh is already moving out to the right, Tyrell Shavers going across the middle is completely pointless. It's not going to do anything on this play unless if Josh Allen makes a miraculous throw across his body, which at times he's done, but not in this play because you're trying to get the down, right? So that eliminates this play. And then, so really only thing that's going to work here is either Josh has to get past this guy who's already playing hard contain on the right side, try and force it to James Cook, who's already getting locked up and not going to be able to get any separation with the DB already playing here, or he's going to have to force it to Jackson Hall as a blocking tight end who's already down 20 yards down the field on a 4th and 1 midfield when you're already down 7-0 with 2 minutes left on the drive. So really, I mean, bad play design definitely, or play concept here, but give credit to Miami here because Miami definitely played this well, having somebody right here just in case if he goes backside to flip around, having the linebackers all kind of crash here in case if they do run, having the D linemen all play inside of their respected guys. And then lastly, the DBs, they played a phenomenal job covering this because you would think on a play like this with a rollout that Jackson Halls would be wide open. But give credit to the Miami defense right here. And this kind of was a recipe for disaster for the Bills for the rest of the game because after this, Jalen Waddle gets a over 50-yard almost touchdown against rookie Maxwell Harrison. So, yeah, there's my breakdown of one of the plays in this game that kind of, decided kind of the outcome of it. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Julian, for that breakdown.
Of course.
So for our next part of this Bills segment today, we got to talk about the other side of the ball. The defense, 30 points against this Miami Dolphins offense. Tua's been one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL this year. They haven't had a good offensive line. They haven't been able to run the ball. Obviously, haven't been able to pass the ball.
Right.
How did this game get out of hand for the Bills on the defensive end of the ball?
I think this is a defense that plays better when the offense is doing well and when they're up because they love to play that Tampa 2, cover 2. We're not going to let you beat us deep. And, that takes away the running aspect. If you're down, you're not really going to run as much. So, and then while Miami was up, they were able to kind of do whatever they wanted, play action, run it with Devon Achane, Jalen Waddle beating you upfield. It was really just a recipe for, I think this defense plays well and their offense plays well. So I think that was the main part of it. But I think Cole Bishop, though, has definitely, was really good in this game. He's definitely one of the highlights of the game. And other than really Cole Bishop, I would probably say
Maxwell Harrison.
But he got beat. But it's one play though. He's learning and stuff. Got to give credit to Jalen Waddle and Tua. That was one of Tua's best throws I've seen him throw in a long time.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, if the offense isn't playing well, this Tampa 2 defense doesn't do particularly good because it's not designed to stop the run over and over again. It's kind of like in that the Bills were in this game for the most part till that fourth quarter. It was 16-0. I mean, a couple touchdowns and you would have been right back in it, and a couple defensive stops. And the offense really just kind of sputtered out for the entire game. They couldn't find something to take advantage of this Miami defense. And like you said, once the Bills aren't scoring, the teams can run all over you. We saw that with Achane at the end of the game. He had, I don't want to call it a garbage time touchdown, but it was.
Right.
He ran right past Terrell Bernard and went right into the end zone untouched. I mean, it's, part of the problems with this defense is that they can't play. Right. They can't play clutch in these late games, especially when they're down, because teams can just run all over them.
And I think this team is for the last few years now, they're built to, to play Kansas City and to beat Kansas City, because Kansas City doesn't really have, a great run game. But this makes you question now if, let's say, Kansas City doesn't make it, because right now they're not in it. Let's say the Bills get in there, too, as a wild card team at this very moment. They might have to go to a team like, the Colts, who are one of the best run teams in the entire league. And if it's hard for you to really compete against, Devon Achane's a good player. We're not going to, he's a really good player, one of the better, electrifying players in this league. But if you go against Jonathan Taylor, who's probably Offensive Player of the Year candidate at this moment, how can you really stop that? And I think, this defense definitely either has to play a new style of defense instead of this, cover 2, cover 3, or they have to really, amp up the intensity and not get run on like they have been all year.
Yeah, I mean, they play any running back that's, just above average.
Right.
They're gonna get pummeled. They're not gonna be able to stop the run.
Yep.
They're not that's why I'm more afraid right now personally of that Colts team than I am of the Chiefs.
Because of that factor of the running.
Because I know the Chiefs, they have Isaiah Pacheco. He's not really that great of a running back, at least
Yeah.
for this year. He's been injured, and he hasn't been very good. So I feel like, I'm more confident with their Tampa 2 defense there. And then when we play the Colts or, maybe we play the Ravens again, like that first game against the Ravens, if it wasn't for the defense coming up with some big plays at the end and Josh Allen having one of maybe his best game of the year, honestly, we could have lost that game.
100%.
Like that could have been another loss. We could be, in the same boat as the Chiefs right now, 5-4.
Could be.
But yeah, I mean, at this point of the year, another thing I'd like to touch up on is that, it's really hard for a whole team to change their defensive playbook. Like they're not just going to go in 1 week and okay, we got this to Tampa 2. No, they have to run with it because I mean that's
the motto.
Babbage and Sean McDermott's, that's their defensive play calling. Like they're going to be sticking with that Tampa 2 because you can't just make a whole new defensive playbook in 5 days and then get ready to play this Bucs team that's been really good even when they're hurt.
Right, and there's been times when this defense works. We saw it against, the Jets this year, and, despite the Jets being, the Jets, they have a top 5 running attack in the league with Justin Fields and Breece Hall, and they did a great job against them.
They put that on display last night. I mean, that was the one thing in Thursday Night Football last night against the Patriots and the Jets. That was the one thing the Patriots couldn't stop was Justin Fields on the ground and Breece Hall on the ground.
And they're one of the best in the league at stopping the run, and then they went against a team like the Jets who, again, not disrespecting the Jets. Obviously this year, 2-7 or now 2-8, not great. But what's been a highlight is this running attack with Breece Hall and Justin Fields, and off the offensive line too. Very young, but play physical against that Patriot defense, which was top 3 in the league at rushing. At up until last night, it seemed like.
So just to end off our Bills segment, we got to talk about what's next for this team. Obviously, big loss in Miami. How does a team like the Bills, they're expected to be a Super Bowl favorite. How do they come back from this?
Well, it starts, this Sunday against Tampa Bay. Yeah. And, Tampa Bay, without Bucky Irvin, they don't really have a great running attack in general. They have Rashad White's more of, a pass catcher.
They have former Syracuse great Sean Tucker.
We love Sean. I'm from Syracuse. I love Sean Tucker, one of the best players I've seen in my lifetime. Obviously, I'm jealous because my dad got to watch, Donovan McNabb, Marvin Harrison Jr., all these great legends. And
you meant senior, right?
Oh, yeah.
Marvin Harrison Sr.
I love to talk about Marvin Harrison Jr., too. I'm a big fan of his as well. But Marvin Harrison Sr., now, I guess, wow, yeah, you're making me think about my whole life right now.
Yeah.
But Marvin Harrison, too, I'm, jealous that you got to watch that. And, probably the best players in my lifetime have been, Kyle McCord in recent years, Sean Tucker, Eric Dungy. We can never forget Eric Dungy. Yep. But definitely, we love Sean Tucker in Syracuse.
Yeah. So, I mean, they got to play a gutsy Tampa Bay Buccaneers team that, even when they're hurt, they're still a good team. Like, they went toe-to-toe with that New England Patriots team last week. I know they lost. Wasn't a good look for Tampa, but they're a good team. We have to take them on as, a real threat. Like, they're going to be a playoff contender, and it'll be a good win if we can pull that off.
I think, going into this game, I think if our defensive line, because this offensive line, other than Tristan Wirfs, is very suspect. Yeah. And I think if, the Bills, I think defense is a perfect type of defense to go against this Tampa Bay team at this very moment without Chris Godwin, I think, without Mike Evans still. And, no Bucky Irving. Emeka Mbuka and Tez Johnson and then Kate Otten are the,
all your offensive weapons.
So I think, going after the quarterback, really establishing, playing that style of Buffalo Bills defense, which is don't give up anything deep and, contain the quarterback. I think it's the key to this game. And offensively, obviously they have one of the best running defenses in the league, but, challenge them. Let's see if they really are that, because you play that Buffalo Bills football.
Yeah. I think another thing, just to touch up on the offensive side again, I think Joe Brady and Sean McDermott got to make sure that Josh Allen plays this game a little more simple. Just like you said, when you broke down that 4th-and-1 play, don't run plays like that anymore. They have been proven to fail. I mean, they've run plays like this all year. They've run, especially like we talked about on the first episode of the podcast. Make sure you watch that on our YouTube page. We talked about, how they do this end around stuff with Elijah Moore on third down, third and short.
Yeah.
Like I don't get that play. I maybe Joe Brady sees something in it that will spark this offense at some point. But I don't believe in that play, and I feel like you should be doing the Orchard Park snowplow, which has been proven to actually do the job. And we're seeing that, still in Philly, and I feel like they can still do that here in Buffalo.
Being simple works sometimes, you know. Not everything has to be this creative savant thing. Just, do what the defense gives you and play simple.
Yeah. Just do some out routes, simple stuff to the sideline maybe some underneath routes, something to get, Josh Allen feeling more in his zone.
Yep,
because that's
100%.
something that they haven't been able to find this year. Josh Allen did mention that earlier this year that, he's still trying to figure out, his end of the game. Like he's still trying to figure out how to throw like he did last year when he was the MVP.
Yep.
So we'll switch over now to our NFL segment. All right, everybody, for this next segment, we're going to be talking about, around the league news, around the NFL. The first thing we'd like to talk about, though, is the news that came out of New York really early on this week. Brian Daboll is no longer the head coach of the New York Football Giants. Honestly, a shocking decision from my view because I feel like it's a little late in the season to be firing a head coach.
Right.
I feel like they should have stuck it out with Daboll. I know he hasn't had a really good track record beside his first year there where he won, NFL Coach of the Year. I think it was just a shocking decision in my books.
I agree with you, too, as well. I don't think you should really – because if you're going to fire him, why not just play out the season and, see what he can maybe do the rest of the way. And I think a part of him getting fired is kind of a lot of the stuff when it comes to, like, injuries and, like, training. Because we saw Jackson Dart has been evaluated for 4 concussions since being the starter.
Yes.
And has been hit the second most, I think, in the league since he's been the starter. Yep. And he started in week 3.
Yep.
That's insane.
It is crazy. 4 concussions and only in your rookie year.
Right.
Let's compare this to what's been happening with Tua Tagovailoa and the Dolphins. That hasn't all been in a year for Tua. And that's not even in a full year. This is in half a year, around 6 months.
Yep.
For Jackson Dart. Is this something from the way that he plays? He plays a very aggressive running style, like head down, physical. Most quarterbacks usually don't do that.
Right. I think that's a part of it as well. Jackson Dart kind of wanted to have like this, he wants to be this physical, runner and kind of like not, play like a traditional quarterback. We saw it in the John Gruden film room.
I want you to talk to me about this game here against Georgia. Now, you're taking off. You got the first down. What would Gruden tell you to do?
Go out of bounds, coach.
And what are you going to do?
Run his ass over.
He asked them like what John Gruden asked him, like on a play where he was running it, and he said, "What should you do here?" He's like, "What do you want me to tell you to do here? Slide." But what did you do? He's like, "I ran him over."
Yeah.
And so Jackson Dart definitely, I think, is a part of it. But I do think Brian Daboll and this offensive staff are playing that way as well, and I think it's going to get him really hurt. Can also affect this entire team because we saw once Russell Wilson got back in, it was not great.
It looked totally different.
Jameis Winston though starting this week, I am so excited to see him start.
Yeah, and they named Mike Kafka the new head coach.
Mike Kafka, yeah.
Mike Kafka.
Yes, I know it sounds weird. He has a weird name.
Sorry, everybody.
Sorry, Mike Kafka's family.
Kafka, yeah, sorry. I mispronounced your name.
If you're
My
watching
apologies.
this, we are sorry.
Made the decision to go with Jameis Winston over Russell Wilson. What were your thoughts on that decision?
You know what? Why not?
Weather conditions tonight. We're expecting winds up to 15 miles per hour in a wintry mix. How will that impact your ability to throw the ball?
I am so happy and grateful that the Lord has blessed me to play in some snow, to be in true football weather in Cleveland, Ohio at Huntington Bank Field today to give him the glory. It's a beautiful day.
Sure feels like you're playing in the AFC North.
It is. It's magical. Thank you.
Yeah, Russell was...
Why not?
The last few moments we remember of Russell Wilson on the Giants have not been good.
Nope. He threw it in the back of the end zone 5 times.
5 times against the Chiefs. And
With
then
Chris Collinsworth glazing Mahomes.
And then when he came in, he didn't even know he was coming into the game against Chicago.
Nope.
And once the game was over and there was media availability in the locker room, Russ was telling, everybody in the media that was surrounding him, like, hey, like, I didn't know till right after that I was getting put into the game. Like, Brian Dable didn't make that decision yet.
Yeah,
I think that's kind of wild for a head coach to do that. Maybe the sequence of events that happened in that game with Dart getting hurt and Russ not knowing, like, hey, I gotta come into this game. Maybe that was, just the cherry on top for
probably
ownership to get rid of Dable.
Right, and then now it kind of makes you think, who's going to be the head coach or what are the plans for, really this Giants team? Because coming before, a few weeks ago, it was kind of like this new savant of the Giants. They were hyped again with Cam Scattaboo, Jackson Dart, and, this team kind of had like this fresh, like, you were like...
It had this vibe.
Yeah, like you were like excited to watch them.
Like, especially everyone in the country knew about it after that, that Giants-Eagles game on Thursday Night Football. And the Giants, they dominated that game.
They did.
On the ground. I mean, like, and Jackson Dart was good over the air. I mean, he was just under 200 yards that game, and I think he had a touchdown or so. I don't exactly remember, but all I remember is that Cam Scattaboo was, they could not stop him. That dominant Eagles defense couldn't do anything with them. So, yeah. There was newfound energy in that locker room and also in the fan base throughout the past few weeks. And I feel like that's after Scattaboo got hurt and had that gruesome ankle injury that we found out later on is worse than it looked. I mean, it was awful on the field. And now with Jackson Dart, not being healthy, I mean, this is his fourth concussion now.
Yeah.
Like this is big problems for the Giants, and they have to find, that next guy this offseason that can lead this team out of this playoff deficit that they've been in.
This Giants carousel of coaches since since Tom Coughlin has been gone, going from Tom Coughlin, Ben McAdoo to Pat Shurmur to Joe Judge.
Joe Judge, yep.
I try to forget about him.
Joe Judge was really, really, really bad.
And then now Dable, right?
Dable, yep.
And then now they got to find a new one. This is how many coaches? I just named 5 coaches in 10 years?
Yep.
Not even? So
Tom Coughlin got let go in
2016. So since 2016, you had Tom Coughlin, Ben McAdoo, Pat Shurmur, Joe Judge, and now Brian Dable is out.
And now you have another interim head coach.
Yep.
In Mike. So
definitely the Giants have to find some stability at some point.
Yeah, I think they got to keep their players healthy. They got to, how to manage this team for the future. They have to know how to, I don't want to say change Jackson Dart's game, but, maybe influence his play style in a different way so he's not, running headfirst into linebackers on almost every other down. So, I mean, the Giants have a lot of work to do. Now we'll focus on another part of the NFC, the Seattle Seahawks, and they've been having, a lights-out year.
They have been.
What they had last year. Last year with Geno Smith, they had an okay year, and then it just kind of fell apart at the end. There was no steam. They couldn't get anything going. But this Seahawks team looks different with Sam Darnold under the gun, and then you have a veteran in Cooper Kupp, and JSN's really elevated to another level. You could consider him, just on his play this year, a top 5 receiver in the league.
Yeah, I love JSN. He's been phenomenal, working the field both deep and across the middle. Cooper Kupp, that really good, reception kind of guy. And I think really what's elevated this team is not just Sam Darnold, because Sam Darnold has looked phenomenal so far this season. And I think he should be an MVP candidate right now. It would be one of the top 5. I personally think I would rather see Sam Darnold over Drake May, in my opinion. But I also think this defense has taken it to another level too, and I think that's a part of Coach McDonald's coaching philosophy.
Yeah, I think also it's not just the offensive side of the ball that's been really good for them this year. It's the defensive side of the ball too. Yep. I mean, just for example, in their game last week against the Cardinals, first half of the game, veteran DeMarcus Lawrence, he's 33 years old at this point. He had 2 fumble return touchdowns. Yep. 2 in the first half. I mean, that's incredible. And it's even incredible that was just in one game.
Yep.
Because, this Seahawks defense honestly has a new energy to it as well. I mean, they feel a lot younger, a lot faster.
Yeah.
I think people have, gone off the track of, people were like last year were saying like Rick Williams is not like a good corner.
Yeah.
He's really stepped up his game too. So
Yeah.
what are your thoughts on the defense so far?
Defense has been phenomenal this year, getting not only just pressure, but playing great coverage down the field with Woolen, Witherspoon, Love in the secondary, as well as, the defensive line with Lawrence, Williams.
They drafted that guy out of it was not Georgia, it was South Carolina, if I'm correct. I can't remember what his name is, but they drafted a safety opposite Love. I mean, they have players now. They have
do.
guys that can go out and make big plays on that defense.
And Mike McDonald is, they're with him. He's 13-1 on the road.
Yeah.
Since being a head coach, he has the best road record since he's been a head coach, and obviously it's hard to play in front of the 12th man. Yeah. So I think they're going to be definitely a great team, and I think this Sunday kind of proves it against the LA Rams, who's an established, a great team these last 4 seasons with Stafford and Sean McVay.
On top of that, we see a lot of good teams. They have a good start to the year. We're at this midway point. Do you think the Seahawks can carry this momentum down the stretch into the playoffs, maybe make a deep run? Maybe they're a Super Bowl contender. Do you think they're legit?
As much as I hyped them up just now, I do not.
Yeah, I mean,
I think they have to prove it.
I like to hype them up too. Yeah, I like them to prove it. I'd like Sam Darnold to prove it. I mean, we saw him with that 15-2 Vikings team
And collapse in the last.
collapse against the Rams.
Yeah.
In the playoffs. I mean, they got to play, that Rams team was really good last year. But
Yeah.
I think they even got better, and they got to play them this coming week, and they're also 7-2. This could be for the division down the road.
Yeah.
I mean, this is
And then we
big
can't
time.
forget, too, once you have the 49ers, too, who's banged up, but they're 6-3 right now, so they can even make some noise in the division, too. I mean, this division is insane.
Yeah, I mean, the Niners have had, good quarterback play outside of Brock Purdy. They've had Mac Jones, kind of looking like his former self from his, I believe it was his rookie year when he went to the Pro Bowl.
Pro Bowl when he did the gritty.
Yeah, and I mean,
I try to
he
forget
hasn't
that.
been the same since that the Bills wild card game, and it was 2021, correct?
Yeah, it was 2021.
Yeah.
I remember going to the, not that game, but the game in December against Mac Jones where he only completed 3 passes. I went to that game, and
Yeah,
that was awful.
I remember. I believe I was at that game because
I was at
had
the
season
game.
Tickets, but yeah, I remember that game. Like Mac Jones was not very good that game.
Nope.
Went into the next game, played a lot better, but I don't know, kind of broke him.
Yep.
And then he goes to this 49ers team led by Kyle Shanahan, and
Which it seems like Kyle Shanahan always wanted Mac Jones to begin
always
with.
wanted Mac Jones. I mean, he wanted to draft him. That were at least reports out of the draft that year.
When they took Trey
They
Lance.
took Trey Lance, and Trey Lance obviously is a bust. He didn't really do. I don't think he really got ever like a really good shot because of injuries.
Yep.
And, Brock Purdy.
Pretty
came in
ascending,
full,
yeah.
And Jimmy Garoppolo was there too. So I mean, I agree with you though. I'm not ready to confirm myself. I'm not gonna hop on that Seahawks bandwagon.
But they are I think
are
a
good.
good team though.
They are a
And
really
and
good
if they
team.
can compete with teams like the Rams, who I think are better at this very moment,
And I think
Eagles.
and you can say this: they might be playing the future MVP of the league here this year. I mean, they Matthew Stafford is 25.
Yeah, he's been unbelievable.
Like the touchdown IT ratio, 25 touchdowns, and we're.
Yeah.
I mean, this is what, week 11 now.
Yep, we're in week 11.
Week 11. Yeah, I mean that's nuts stuff. Like Matthew
Yeah.
Stafford's 37 years old, and people before this season. I don't know if you guys remember the meme. I'll make sure to post it in the video here. I'll probably clip it in right about now or something like that. But people were saying that the video the Rams posting of him when he was hurt for a little bit in the preseason, then he came back and they showed a picture of a short video of him at practice. Everybody thought that was AI and that Matthew Stafford died, and they didn't announce it yet. I don't
Yeah.
know. Did you remember that?
No, I remember.
Yeah, I mean, people were freaking out, oh my god, I just drafted him in fantasy and he's dead, he's not alive anymore. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah, it was great.
you think about that. That was only a few months ago, and now he's the MVP favorite. It's incredible, and I don't feel like a lot of people are talking about it because they still think Mahomes and Allen and Jackson they'll come out of nowhere and they'll be back on top like they usually are. I don't think so. I think we're gonna see that future MVP and Matthew Stafford go on the field against the Seahawks team, we're going to see which team is really legit or not.
100%. I can't wait for that. That's going to be my game. Other than the Bills game against Tampa, I think that's going to be my game of the week, 100%.
By far outside of the Bills game, because Julian and I are biased. We're Bills fans, obviously. That will definitely be game of the week.
Yeah.
I think to end our NFL segment for the week here, we need to talk about another elephant in the room, and that's Kansas City.
Yep.
They're 5-4. They are going on the road in hostile territory to take on Denver, which has been the leader in their division, the AFC West. What are your thoughts about that game? And based on the outcome, say Kansas City loses and they go to 500 at a 5-5 record, can they win the AFC West?
If they go 500, I really do not think they can.
Yeah.
Because now Denver will be 9-2.
9-2.
Yep, and then right now the Chargers have that tiebreaker over Kansas City at this moment.
Yep.
With the win over them, and they're 8-3, 8-4, 8-3.
I'm not exactly sure. I'll look it up, but continue talking.
So definitely, LA being also over them as well. I definitely think this division is going to be hostile for them to make it into. Not only that, but also the Ravens are making an ascendant too, kind of coming out of their early slump and fighting for a wild card spot as well.
It was kind of like the Ravens had I will say a crap ton of injuries.
They did.
They were, we all thought, at least as Bills fans in our view, the Bills are really banged up in the preseason. It came at the wrong time for Baltimore. It came right at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
Right after our game against them to open the year. I mean, they got really hurt. Lamar Jackson got hurt against the Kansas City Chiefs. The Ravens went on to lose that game. They lost a bunch of them in a row.
Yeah.
But you're right. I mean, it's like that Ravens team is coming out of hibernation. Like they're actually they're making a huge impact here.
Yeah.
Right at the right time. Right when they're trying to get their record, back to 500. I think they have to play the Browns this weekend. So it's still an NFL opponent, but
yeah,
the Ravens should, just
win that
team.
And with the Steelers kind of falling off, they have a chance at taking that division. But also the Steelers can get that wild card spot over the Chiefs as well.
Yep.
But I think the Chiefs, definitely this is a big game for them. They kind of have to win this and not go 500 and then if also the Chargers win against, who do they play this? They play the Jacksonville. They play Jacksonville.
I believe so.
They play Jacksonville this week in Jacksonville. So if they beat them, because they can win that too. Jacksonville's been sleeper this year too. Yep. If they win that, you can look at, Kansas City not being in the playoff picture right now, because also Jacksonville beat Kansas City earlier in the year too off of that Trevor Lawrence insane touchdown. I don't know how he did that.
So just to clarify, we were trying to think about the record for the Chargers. They're 7-3 right now. So they hold that tiebreaker. They're fighting for the AFC West title too.
Yep.
I mean, this isn't the Chiefs division anymore. Just like, for example, with the Bills, hate to keep referencing it over and over again, but I'm a Bills fan, so I'm going to. But
yeah,
it's not just our division anymore. New England's here. I mean, Drake May is here. Like this New England team, I feel like a lot of people aren't really talking about it that much. Like they're kind of downplaying it, like, oh, they've had the weakest schedule in the NFL or one of the weaker ones, and they're just they're beating all these teams because they're not very good. No, I mean, I feel like Drake May has really elevated himself to another level here in his sophomore year. That defense in New England's gotten a lot better, especially with their run defense.
Yeah.
It's the same thing that's going on between the Bills and the Patriots that's happening with the Chiefs and the Broncos and the Chargers.
Yeah.
It's not just them anymore. They actually have to face real football teams that can beat them.
And with the loss too, I mean, depending on other games too, I mean, you would have you have Denver.
Yep.
You have New England. Yep. You have the Colts right now. Yep. You have, depending on the AFC North, you got the Steelers / the Ravens.
Correct.
You got the Bills. Mm-hmm. You got the Jaguars.
Yep.
And it's like all the teams really right now. So those teams, that's the teams that are right now have a better record at this very moment and over the Chiefs. And if the Chiefs lose, and some of those games go the way that it might look like.
Yep.
they can potentially not make the playoffs this year for the first time in not just Patrick Mahomes' career, but since 2015 or 2013.
And you mentioned their upcoming games. I mean, we have Denver this weekend.
Yep.
They can lose that game. Then they have to face the Colts in KC, obviously.
Which is interesting. I gotta say, that's an interesting game.
That's a home game for the Chiefs, so they'll have home field advantage, and that's one of the best advantages in football
Yep.
to play in Kansas City. But that Colts team, led by MVP candidate and Jonathan Taylor, and then
Indiana Jones.
I love Daniel Jones' new nickname, so I'm gonna use it. Indiana Jones.
Does he run away like a boulder too? Do you think? Does he run like he's running away from a boulder?
Yeah, when you have to put him in the scrambling mode, he kind of looks like Mario running. Honestly, that's kind of like my cross tie.
Is it similar to like the one that he did against the Eagles when he
when he ran, but then he like stumbled last minute.
Yeah.
Hopefully, as a Bills fan, I'm biased. Hopefully that doesn't happen. This in 2 weeks on Sunday. Hopefully that doesn't happen. But yeah, the Chiefs have to go and face that Colts team, and then on Thanksgiving Day they have an intriguing matchup against the Dallas Cowboys. Cowboys, obviously, go check out our first episode of Galactic Sports Talk. We talked about the Cowboys. Now they're big buyers at the deadline. They got Quinn Williams and Logan Wilson to beef up that defense. Even if their defense is like okay for the Cowboys, I mean, they could go toe-to-toe with this Chiefs team as well. I feel like they could match them offensively.
Oh, yeah,
and
they can,
even
100%.
outscore them, because this Dallas offense has been top 5. They've been really good running the ball and throwing the ball. Dak is still having a really good year. Then after that Cowboys game on Thanksgiving, they got to go play the Texans. Texans are fighting for a wild card spot.
Yep.
Then they have to, I think the Chargers come to them, I believe.
Yeah.
Chargers come to them next week. Then they have the Titans. Obviously, they're going to beat that team. Then they play. No offense, Titans fans.
Oh no.
I mean,
Cam Ward said it himself.
Unless it's a trap game.
Cam Ward said it himself. He said buns.
Yeah, we can't say that on YouTube. We'll get canceled.
He'll say it for us though, right here.
I mean, if we keeping a buck right now, we ass.
Yeah, we'll see about that. But I mean, then they have to face the Broncos again.
Yep.
And then they could lose both those games to Denver, and then the Raiders end the year. And I mean, the Raiders always kind of keep it close with Kansas City, except for earlier this year.
Yeah, we don't talk about that.
We don't talk about that game.
So yeah, I think if they do lose, I think it's going to be very, very much a uphill,
uphill battle
to really climb and get in the playoffs. So that's what I think.
They're gonna need some help.
Yep.
And they're gonna need teams, maybe a Colts team, maybe Jacksonville, but I don't see, with the additions like teams like that made and the adjustments that some of these teams are making, like maybe like we're seeing with the Ravens and now potentially with the Bills, maybe this weekend for the Bills, they're getting Joshua Palmer back. Maybe their offense clicks, that starts playing better down the road here. I mean, Kansas City really, I think they're going to be the first team out.
Could be,
That's my prediction. I don't think they have the team right now to go into the playoffs, at least get a wild card and make a run. If they get in the playoffs, they're a first round exit for me.
Yeah, probably. I would agree with you there, 100%.
So, for the record,
fire Nico! Fire Nico! Fire Nico!
we usually try to keep this segment about the NFL, but we got to talk about something that happened in the NBA earlier this week.
Yeah.
A pretty viral moment, not just because it's a short-term thing, but it's a long-term effect. The Dallas Mavericks have finally decided that they're going to let go of Nico Harrison.
Yeah.
A beloved GM in Dallas. I mean,
he might be hated more than Jerry Jones.
I mean, we have a couple people on campus here who are Dallas Mavericks fans and Luka fans, and they were.
I'm one of them. I'm a Luka fan.
You're a Luka fan. Brandon is a Luka fan and a Dallas Mavericks fan. But this decision. What were your thoughts on that? To let Nico Harrison go so early on into the year.
I think it was more not because of the moves he made, but more to kind of save the brand. I think.
Yeah.
I think it was more of a we're a scapegoat because at the end of the day, Nico Harrison did make the decision. He was the driving force.
He executed the trade.
He was the one that he was the captain of the ship.
I mean, it was reported that he talked to Rob Pelinka, is the Lakers GM, I mean, it was reported that he, in a text chain with Rob Pelinka, said, like, hey, what would your thoughts be on us trading Luka? Like, that's a crazy thing to say for a GM.
Yeah.
And, I mean, that got leaked, obviously. But, it's just an interesting move for me for them to move on from Harrison so early on in the year, because I look at it from the NFL perspective, because I love football. It's like my number one sport outside of NASCAR, but we don't talk about that on this podcast.
He loves Kyle Busch.
I can't be biased. I can't be biased. So, I look at it from my NFL view, my NFL glasses, is that it's just, I feel it's too early.
Yep.
I feel like maybe if he doesn't do anything at the NBA trade deadline, if to bolster this, I mean, that's a long time from now, right?
Right.
But,
But also the season just started.
It's
and
only a couple weeks in.
I do disagree. Like, I don't think trading Luka, worst thing you've done. Like,
Yeah.
that's dumb, just stupid.
Yeah, it was stupid.
But I do think you had to give him this year in particular, to see how the whole thing plays out.
With Anthony Davis, I mean, he's been hurt, obviously, but him going into this lineup and not
Yep.
playing the center position like he usually does, but I think he's been playing, is it power forward? Is that what he's
Yeah.
been transitioning to? Yeah, so, I mean, Anthony Davis transitioning to that position and seeing how he evolves there. Obviously, he's hurt right now, and maybe that factored in the decision for Dallas to let Nico go. But, Kyrie still hasn't played with this team yet.
Yep.
And
Cooper Flagg just started.
Flagg just started. I know he's been rusty and not what everybody expected for the start of the year.
But he's a rookie,
he's
it happens.
Like, gotta give him a break. Gotta give him some slack. Like,
So I think it was more of a publicity and to really save the branding, because not a lot of many people liked Nico Harrison or the move that he did made, because Luka was the next, he was their next Dirk Nowitzki. They were going to build a statue for him.
Yep.
He was going to have a statue at some point. And to trade that kind of player away, it's equivalent to, in NFL terms, if we just traded Josh Allen right now.
yeah, it's literally trading one of the best players in your franchise history for, a guy who's aging, like Anthony Davis.
Who's good
and
still,
is
but,
good. And then who else did they trade for? They traded for Max Christie, right?
Yep.
And I mean, he
All right player.
He's all right player. He can fill in here and there. He can take some minutes, but he's not he ain't gonna make a big difference for you.
Right, he's not going to make that kind of, he's just going to get you a good, 10, maybe 10 to 9 points a game, shooting threes and trying to play defense, because he's not that great of a defender. But, yeah, it's just not, I think it was more publicity, not really for the move, even though I think the move was not a good move to begin with at all. Because Luka, if you want to win in the short term, Luka's better than Anthony Davis.
Yep.
And in the long term, he's going to be better than
Anthony Davis. So the logic behind that never made sense.
And the worst part of the whole thing is, if you're going to trade Luka, shop him around.
Yep.
Why did you just hold yourself to just the Lakers? You probably would have got more back from other teams around the league. If you you would have got more picks, you would have got more, player capital. But no, you just wanted to trade for Anthony Davis, who's probably got another 2 or 3 years left. Luka's got another 10 years, 12 years left, and it's insane.
Yep.
The worst part of it too, you didn't even know how to trade him right.
Yeah.
If you're gonna get rid of him the right way.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
There was no discussion about it.
Nope.
It was just all under the table.
Yep.
It kind of seemed dirty, in a sense.
Yeah.
For them to trade him that way, because he did so much for them. That previous year he just took
him to the NBA
Finals.
And then a year,
they got destroyed, but that was
No one thought they would even make it to the finals. And Luka had one of the most crazy NBA playoff runs in the last 25 years, taking that Dallas team to the finals. And they were a good team too. Obviously, they had Kyrie Irving, who was, an all-star and maybe a future Hall of Famer at some point. They had Daniel Gafford, who was a good big man, PJ Washington, a good role player, Derek Jones, a good role player, Derek Lively, who was a rookie at the time, was pretty good, Jason Kidd, a really good head coach and an NBA champion with Dallas Mavericks. And Luka putting that team on his back, leading the team in points, rebounds, and assists, and to get traded not even a year later baffles me.
Yep.
It's so bad. And if you're going to get rid of him the right way, and they couldn't even do that. What are you doing?
Yep. It's just a catastrophe in Dallas, and I hate to say it, but unless, Cooper Flagg really steps it up and Anthony Davis comes back from his injuries and, plays really well.
And we're seeing Luka right now. He's an MVP candidate again.
Yeah.
Top 4. Right now, in my opinion, Luka Doncic is right? This is tough. He's probably either the third or fourth best player in the NBA right now.
Yeah, he's
You got Jokic and you got Shea.
I mean, they had a really tough game earlier this week against OKC, but obviously it's so early on. You know, he can come back from that. You know, play really well. And he still played well in that game. I mean, like he still. I think he was just under 30 points, even though he got blown out.
Like this season right now, it's probably like the top 5 players this season so far are Jokic, Victor, Shea, Luka, and Giannis.
Yep.
I think those are the 5 right now.
Yep.
Not in order, but like that's like I think the top 5 in the NBA at this moment.
Yeah, just to focus more on the Mavericks, like it's just a disaster, and I feel like it's going to keep getting worse, and they're gonna start experiencing the long-term effects of this.
100%
of a trade like this that does so much damage.
Right, not only to just the team in general, but also to even just fans of the team, or they had something to go like. Because like an example I would give is when you go to like a sporting event. Let's say you travel, and let's say in purposes for Dallas, you want to go to see a Mavericks game. Why are you going to see a Mavericks game? You want to go see Luka. You want to see this generational star play. But you're not only just going to go see Luka, because why would you just travel all the way for an NBA game? You're going to do other things around the city, like go to foods, hotels, and that generates more revenue for the city. So getting rid of a player like a Luka, you're also taking away not just the basketball side of it, but the revenue.
You're hurting the city too.
Right.
You're hurting the people that live there and the people that, generate the wealth.
Right. So like right now, Josh Allen is making all this wealth for kind of the Buffalo area and the Bills in terms of, marketing, revenue, himself, and like other places. If he were just to leave and go somewhere else, that's a lot of revenue taken away from the Bills in terms of, sponsorships, prime time, so it's not just,
you could think about it the same way, obviously.
Yeah.
Just like Josh Allen like getting traded. Say like the Chiefs trade
Patrick Mahomes, yeah.
Like
that entire
that Kansas City, St. Louis area loses a crap ton of money.
Yep.
Like their team might plummet.
Right, so that's another way to look at it too, because obviously the most important part is the actual basketball or football or the actual, the winning side of the sport and competing to win championships. But you gotta look at it also as because it's also a business. How much money Dallas has lost right now probably is insane from Luka, and how much money now LA has gained with having Luka and LeBron, and recently the Dodgers winning the World Series. Not to mention the Rams are on the come and the Chargers this year.
Sports in LA are on a new rise.
It must be great.
I'm not a big NHL fan, but I mean the Kings are looking really good to start the year too, and they're looking like a playoff team as well. So I mean, like every sports team in that LA area is doing fantastic.
Right. So Nico Harrison, just bad.
Yeah, just bad. I think that's the best way to define, what happened earlier this week. Is just, another bad event in a sequence of more disastrous events for the Dallas Mavericks.
Right, so now we're going to do with Oliver, because he knows Star Wars. He's pretty, I think, knowledgeable of it. But we're going to do a guess that Star Wars character by the image. So I'm going to show him the image on the computer. It's going to be a slideshow presentation for him, and he has no idea what's next. But for you guys, you're going to see the picture that I show him on the screen. Are we ready to get started here, Oliver?
Sadly, I'm fearing what I'm about to see and how bad I'm going to screw up, but I'm still going to have fun with it, and we're going to have fun guessing
Right.
who you start.
So it's going to be 5 Star Wars characters. Some of them are going to be easy as cake. I think a majority of people who even though watch Star Wars or has a decent concept of it will know who they are, but then it's going to get extremely harder for him to really know what it is. So it's going to be fun to see. Let's go. So are we ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Oh, easy. Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Correct. Do you know what episode this is from in particular?
That is episode 2.
Yep, episode 2. Remember when he went to the bar and he looked like he was like, "Go buy yourself some death sticks."
Yeah. I remember that. Yeah, that's when they're looking for that bounty hunter. Right. Yeah.
They're looking for the bounty hunter, and then the guy's like, "Do you want to buy some death sticks?" And he's like, "You want to go home and rethink your life?" And he's like, "I want to go home and rethink my life." All right, so 1-0 Oliver. Ding.
Yep. That's Padme.
It is Padme.
Padme Amidala.
It is.
What episode is it?
Yep.
I'm gonna say episode 3. Looks like episode 3.
You are correct.
Is it Revenge of the Sith?
Yep.
Of the Sith? Okay. Yep.
I think she's one of the more underrated characters in the entire saga because she really is
super important too.
Important, and if you watch the Clone Wars, she's even more important. Really, she's more than just a, the
Senator.
thing. not just center, but like the thing that caused Anakin to turn to the dark side. He's like, she's even more than that. She's like her own like character. So 2 right there.
You could kind of say she's like a catalyst for
Yep.
all of his problems that eventually led him to, joining the Sith.
Yep. So there we go. 2. Oh, Oliver.
Oh my God.
Everyone's favorite character.
It's the greatest character.
The Sith
in
Lord
Star Wars
himself.
history. I wouldn't. That's
not a Sith
canon.
Lord?
Not canon.
No?
Can't
Aw.
say that.
Damn it.
The mouse will get you.
You might get
Can't
me.
say that. Can't say that.
Don't mess
Making
with the
your own
mouse.
Star Wars. Don't mess. Everyone that's watching, do not mess with the mouse.
Do not mess with the
Do
mouse.
not mess with the mouse. That's Jar Jar Binks.
It is Jar Jar Binks.
And I know exactly when this is from. This is episode 3. Or is it 2?
It's 2.
It's 2.
Yep.
Because he shows up for a second in 2.
He's Representative Binks.
Representative Binks.
And
He's that in both 2 and 3.
Yeah.
Basically, like nothing changes with him. Like after the first episode, like he's kind of like ditched, honestly.
Because
from the story.
there's a lot of people didn't like him.
No, he was. I don't understand. I don't understand all those haters, Jar Jar Bink haters. Like I'm a Jar Jar Bink enjoyer. Like,
I don't think I've ever
We are
heard
gonna
those
start-
words
we
come
are-
out of
we are-
someone's mouth.
We are going to start a dialogue. You heard me. We are going to start a dialogue. I'm a Jar Jar Binks enjoyer. I think he's funny. I think
he's
he
funny.
added a different element to episode 1 was obviously new with CGI, and
Yeah.
he was one of those new elements with that CGI format for Lucasfilms when they made
Yeah.
the movie. But and it was a different character too, because Star Wars was not really meant for like its humor aspect. It was meant to
Yeah.
make a really good story. They added Jar Jar in here, and people
Yeah.
are iffy, like we talked about in the first
Yep.
episode of the podcast about episode 1 being like an interesting movie. I'll just call it interesting.
Yep.
Just for now, just to be short with it. But like Jar Jar Binks added to that humor
Yeah.
aspect that episode 1 carries with it to this day.
100%. So 3-0 Oliver. Doing good so far. We got 2 more. Do you think you can get the next 2?
Probably not.
Be confident in yourself.
I cannot be confident about this.
All right, here's the next one.
Oh,
It's the GOAT.
see, like
Everyone's favorite.
I know
The meme.
the meme.
What's the meme?
It's the trap meme. I know the meme, right? Like,
Yeah.
oh no, it's a trap. Like I know that meme, but oh my God, I couldn't get the name. I can never get the name. I don't even have a guess. I always remember him from. I don't know if you've ever seen Star Wars Family Guy.
Yeah, I know I've
But
seen
like
it.
the episode where he's like, instead of like him looking like this, it's just a fishbowl with a goldfish. In
Yeah,
it.
no, it's the fishbowl from
So I just think of him
from
as,
American Dad.
Yeah, I just think of him as fishbowl guy. Whenever I see the movies.
This is Admiral Akbar.
Admiral Akbar. Oh, God.
Everyone's
see,
favorite.
Like that's always like, it's actually a relevant name in the universe because everybody knows this as a meme. He's not in the movies for very long. It's just for the short
Yep.
segment. But
Do you know what species he is for extra credit?
I have no clue.
Mon Calamari.
Yeah, I couldn't give you the name.
But okay, so 3-1 Oliver, doing well so far. This next one, I don't think he'll get if he couldn't get Admiral Akbar, but we'll see. Here we go.
Oh, that's Ben Quantero or something like that. I'm very close, right?
I'll give him the point. Ben Quadraneros.
Yeah, he's
The pod
infamous
racer.
pod racer who never. So the lore behind him, I've seen a reel on this.
Yeah.
So obviously we know in episode 1, if you've ever seen that movie, Anakin has to. It's like at the beginning of Anakin's story in the Star Wars universe. He's just a young boy and he gets put into this pod race. So
Yeah.
They could get. I'm trying to remember the whole storyline there.
Yeah, they're able to get the hyper, like a new hyperdrive.
Hyperdrive for their ship, for Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan Kenobi, young Obi-Wan Kenobi that wasn't even a Jedi Master at that point.
Yeah.
But in the pod race, they have these wild and unique characters. And one of these guys is Ben. This
Ben
guy.
Quadraneros,
And
yeah.
It's
The
so
goat.
funny because like they use the goofiest sound effects for them. They really hammered the humor aspect of this movie. They use the weirdest goofy sound effects for all the characters, and he had like these goofy noises that he'd make.
Yep.
Like especially when he couldn't get his pod racer actually going. Like he couldn't get it to start, and Did it blow up on
Yeah.
pit road? Yeah, it blew up on pit road. He didn't even get a single lap in the pod race. Not one.
Might be the worst racer of all time.
Might be the worst race ever, but I saw it. So there was this one guy, I can't remember the name of his account on Instagram, but he said, like, based on the lore and the written story by George Lucas, like he wrote a whole bunch of side stuff that never went anywhere. He became one of the best pod racers of all time.
Huh.
Yes.
It's like basically
Did you not know
No.
this?
So what is he, like the Lightning McQueen of Star Wars?
So he's like
Better than Sebulba?
So he goes down. Like, him and Sebulba have a great rivalry afterwards.
Whoa, really?
Yes.
I did not know this. This is
Like
awesome.
they,
I'm learning something new.
Yeah, I mean, Julian is the biggest Star Wars nerd I know of, besides my twin brother Calvin, who maybe at some point he might be on the show. We'll see. Calvin really loves Star Wars stuff.
Huh.
But Julian, you know a lot about Star Wars. I'm shocked you didn't know that.
No, I had no idea that this guy had
I don't know
more
if it's credible
lore.
or not, but he did talk about, like, yeah, George Lucas had this unwritten stuff like that. He would go down as
So
like
So
one of the best pod
basically,
racers of all time. He had a classic rivalry with Sebulba.
so this is basically Star Wars Fast and Furious.
Yes.
Is what you're telling me?
They
That
should
sounds
honestly, They should
awesome.
honestly make a movie. I would watch that.
What, a
movie.
pod racing like Star Wars, where it's like
Star
Fast
Wars,
and Furious.
So it would be like, you know, like we talked about in the other episode of the podcast. You know, like which movie was better, Episode 1 or Rogue One? It would be kind of similar to a story like Rogue One, like, you know, like a side story,
Yeah.
something that's, you know, not in the line with the trilogies that we've seen in the past. But has like it has something to do in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah. That's kind of cool, but
Yeah.
damn, I learned something new, I guess. Like,
So I'm 4 for 1.
4 for 1.
I'll take 80% completion percentage. I'm pretty good with that.
80%.
I'm good with that.
Bees
My
get.
QBR's up. I like that.
It's great.
So,
There you go.
all right. So I think that's it for us. This is the end of our Star Wars segment. Just some timing constraints, but really happy to be doing another episode of this, Julian.
Me too.
Hopefully we'll continue to make this a weekly thing, and we'll see you guys next time.
Peace.
This is the end of